The WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Use that promo code NBA SGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No me, no the voice, no guy. It's me, a really real villain real. Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. All right, I got Virginia Tech football on the side TV here. So up 10, I think, at this point. I didn't really get to see what happened there. I just missed the last part as I was starting the show. But however,
They faked the field goal. It didn't work.
oh, yeah, cool. Appreciate it. Great decision. We have good special teams. I don't know why they do stuff like that, but it doesn't matter. All right. Where are we at? Yes. 1-1 on the show last time. Missed the lock. Hit the dog. Oh, and the parlay. It was almost there. But I missed the lock. I mean, the under was just a horrible play. I think that under lost in 5:38 left in the game or something like that. It was just bad play. Bad read on me. But what wasn't a bad read was Alicia Gray, 20 plus points. I told you she's just got to continue to get to her spots and they're going to fall in. She has really, really good games against the New York Liberty. So that cash, didn't have to worry about that. But the parlay, 3 Chelsea Gray points away from cashing. We got Aaliyah Boston 15 plus points. We got Playoff Cloud 15 plus points. We did not get Chelsea Gray. She finished with 12. Was it 12 or 13? I think it might have been. Yeah, it was either 12 or 13, one or the other. But shout out to the listener that accidentally put Alicia Gray instead of Chelsea Gray. So he hit the 15 parlay, and he was sitting there. He was like, man, I was wondering how they kept getting 20-1. My odds were at most 13, but shout out to him. He ended up cashing the parlay. You know, you guys really don't need me. I don't know why I'm here. I should just let y'all do this on your own. Like, you guys, you don't need me. You guys are so sharp. Our listeners are so sharp. However, you know who else is sharp? My co-host, Scott Studio Reichel. Scott, what's going on?
Scotty, beam me.
Surprise.
Can't complain. Ended up sweeping, which was a nice way to end the first round. Had 2 plays in the same game. Faded Jewel, thank you for not passing or assisting. Appreciated it. Cashed the under 7.5. Again, even money. I don't know what the hell they were doing, but free money. I think she had 1 through the first 3 quarters. But she was a non-factor. Again, what else is new with the injury? Not her fault. She has a knee issue. And then for the dog, I had Chelsea Gray, 6 plus assists and the aces to win at plus 154. Never in doubt. She had 9, and the Aces dominated most of the second half. So nice sweep in the same game. Can't complain. However, I do want to point out one thing that kind of annoyed me from the first round. Not surprised, but disappointed. We had 0 game 3s.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we expected it, but I can't say there was much drama, if any drama, in the first round. You had game 1 between the Lynx and the Mercury, which was entertaining. You had most of game 1 with the Aces. Then the Storm didn't hit a shot for the entire fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And then you had the Dream leading at halftime against the Liberty in game 2. But nothing that was really that substantial in terms of drama besides the final 3 minutes of the Mercury Lynx game 1. That was basically it. Everything else was pretty straightforward. Game 2, the final couple minutes with the Fever were actually close. And then Mitchell threw the ball away to the wrong team. So that kind of ended the game there. But yeah, once again, not much drama in the first round. All the favorites won in sweeps, so it is what it is. I'm not surprised, but I'm disappointed. Is that fair?
Yeah. I'm trying to. I'm only disappointed in Seattle, but once I saw how bad Jewel looked and how the injury was more than I thought it wasn't surprising at that point. Like, if your 5th seed is a beat up Seattle team, it's gonna get ugly for everybody else. It seems like.
Did you get your Mabry bet through, by the way?
Oh, yes, I did.
Okay.
Oh, yes, I did. Marina Mabry, top point scorer, 15-1. What? Oh, and I think it really wasn't a sweat. Like in that second game, she was pacing. DeWanna Bonner and Kelsey Mitchell were the only two. I guess Caitlin tried to, kind of make it interesting, but it really wasn't close. Marina Mabry just kind of pulled away. That first game was big. That first game was huge. 27 points coming off the bench. Shout out to AOD in the chat. All right, Scott. We got 2 semifinal games. I don't know. I mean, I guess I kind of appreciate the 2 games, honestly, but I don't know. I feel like I want these on different days to at least spread the love. Like, it feels like now we just got to wait for 1 day of basketball. We could have 2 days of basketball.
You
So,
mean you're not a fan of both of the conference final games taking place during the same time as the NFL? You're not a fan of that strategy?
no, not really.
I
Not
don't
really.
understand the logic here. Could we just put these on like a Tuesday? Like you have no other sports to worry about. What the hell are you going to compete with? Like, who's going to watch this instead of the NFL? Or if we're talking about the growth of the league, I don't understand the logic.
And I mean, I
behind...
think the rest would be good too, but like I guess it's kind of a lot of, I don't know. I always felt like there was better scheduling that we could have did instead of doing it during NFL.
I know ESPN's covering college football tonight too. You could put the games on Friday if you wanted to, but Sunday you're going to put both games against the NFL? It just doesn't make any sense to me. I feel like we talk about this every year. WNBA has really not made much money over the course of their lifetime. This year they did pretty well for themselves, but they got to fix the scheduling department. Can they hire us to like determine what days they should have games? Because both games after multiple days off overlapping with the NFL should get somebody fired. Like that's ridiculous. I don't know how you thought that was a good idea.
Yeah, I've never been able to defend that. I'd have to really be in the room and just like, okay, what is the thing that's stopping you from doing it? Like, I don't know. I've never got that. I have just never understood that. And I've let it go at this point. I've given it up and given it to God. So,
and your argument, by the way, quickly, is AEOD is talking about how there might be a bit too much time off. To be honest, I'd rather sacrifice that than compete with the NFL. Like that, feel like that's the worst possible scheduling spot you can have, and you voluntarily chose that spot. You knew when the dates were going to be months ago, so the whole thing doesn't make any sense. That's just my last point. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know, but hey, talking about points, get to the points with Doug Stanhope, Brendan Walsh, and Sean Green, the newest podcast on SGPN every Thursday before the game. Doug, Brendan, and Sean give out their favorite plays and talk a whole bunch of shit. All 3 of them are professional comedians, so you might know Doug and Brendan from the Joe Rogan podcast, Howard Stern Show, and Comedy Central. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts to get to the points. Nice little transition there, Scott.
By the way, some brief NBA news, which is not official, but according to Shams, who officially took over Woj's spot, I guess, for the biggest insider, the Knicks are nearing a trade for Karl Anthony Towns.
No way.
According to Shams,
no way. He just tweeted that.
They didn't say any packages or what was going on, but some brief rumors. Cat might be going there. Maybe. I'm assuming Julius Randle would go the other way. If it's not an NBA show.
So here's my thing.
Here's
my thing, Scott. Because we've done an NBA show for years now, and I hope that you'll vouch for me when I've said I think talent-wise, Cat is he has the potential to be one of the unguardable players in the league. Like I think offensively, the world of Cat, but that mental state. Oh my gosh, Cat is not going to be able to survive in New York. He's not. I don't believe Cat can survive in New York. I think it's easy in Minnesota because, like, I mean, come on, Minnesota are thinking about the Lynx more than the Wolves sometimes. But I like it. I like it as a basketball. Like I like Cat as a player, but just
I got to imagine Randall's headed out, right? I mean,
it can't. How do we get this trade without Randall leaving?
I think he's got to be in there. Once again, we could save that for We could save more of it for the NBA show once stuff gets finalized,
Yeah, for
but that
sure.
was breaking news that I wanted
Wow,
to
that
mention.
like happened just now. Yeah, you're right. And I'm just wow. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm excited, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that one yet. This is live reaction to me realizing Karl Anthony Towns is about to be in a Knicks jersey.
Yeah, and as a Nets fan, I don't care. Let's get Cooper.
I'll wait till the
Flush.
trade details and then
That's
I'll
what
make
I'm
a
saying,
decision.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll wait till the trade.
He's been rumored to go to the Knicks for a while though, because they have the Kentucky connection, all that stuff. So we'll see.
We're probably gonna be talking about this later in the show, Scott. By the time we finish this, they're probably gonna have some type of details. But let's get to the WNBA. Not that I'm not gonna be messy and start that. All right. Here we go. Brooklyn, New York. I might be. Let me go check the email. See if they sent me a pass. All right. The New York Liberty are welcoming the Las Vegas Aces for game 1 of the WNBA semifinals. Liberty are laying 163.5 is the total here. I'm expecting a full cast here. Don't see any injuries to report.
Well, just to be clear, we are skipping something though. We got to briefly talk about the series, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We can definitely break down the series before that. Hold on. Let me pull up the series prices. So this is a rematch of the WNBA finals from last year. The Las Vegas Aces defeat the New York Liberty in 4 games, 3 games to 1. That 4th game very pivotal because in game 3, Chelsea Gray went down. They went into New York shorthanded, and they effectively ran them off their home court. 365 days less. Not exactly, but it's less. The New York Liberty have sat on this. They are now currently laying minus 170 for the series, plus 150 for the Aces. Let me see. Correct score you can get. So if everybody that doesn't know, this is best of 5. This is best of 5. So no longer best of 3, just first round. This is best of 5. You have in order of series price, you can get the New York Liberty 3-1 at plus 380, 3-1 at plus 330, 3-2 at plus 320. You have the Las Vegas Aces 3-0 at 10-1, 3-1 at plus 425, and 3-2 at plus 450. Scott, both of these series I think are going to be rather tough to handicap, and I think they can honestly go both ways. Revenge is always going to be on the mind when we talk about this, especially because both of these series are revenge series. Are you buying into it? I know we're looking at the best version of the Aces right now, which makes this really, really hard. But the New York Liberty have been the best team in the WNBA all year.
Yeah, they have been. To answer your question quickly about revenge, I don't believe in it in a playoff setting. It's the playoffs. Do you really need more motivation to win? Like, I don't believe in a playoff motivation thing. That's a regular season conversation. They beat us a couple months ago, so let's get revenge here. It's a playoff series. I don't buy into any of that narrative. Maybe you'll disagree with me there, but you're trying to win a title. They're standing in your way. Do you really need more motivation? I feel like that kind of sums up, in my opinion, all you need. But I'm taking the Aces in the series. I still think the Liberty are soft, and I think that when push comes to shove, I trust the Aces more in crunch time. Now, I know the Liberty dominated the regular season. I get that. Having said that, we saw the Liberty do pretty well against them last year. I believe they killed Vegas on Vegas's home floor in the Commissioner's Cup final, and it didn't matter, as we saw the Aces dominate most of the finals. Then they ended up sneaking by in Game 4 without one of their best players. It's mostly based on how good Chelsea Gray looked in the first round. That was the main question mark. If Chelsea Gray was going to look like she did for most of the regular season, I thought Vegas had problems. However, she looked really good. She looked really healthy, and she channeled into some of that playoff point god that we were waiting for. And with the Liberty, yes, they beat the Dream in of course, a sweep. Game 2 was ugly. It was a standard Liberty letdown game where they no-showed the first half. The Dream fell apart late, but they covered. Shout out to the Dream for covering. But I'm going to go Aces here. I think defensively they figured it out. I thought they were going to sweep Seattle, and they did. Maybe not as convincingly as I thought they were going to. Game 2 was pretty straightforward, but I do think that the Aces are playing great basketball. I know they have that championship pedigree. Besides the likes of, I mean, Vandersloot doesn't play much anymore, but besides Brianna Stewart, I don't think many players on the team actually have a title, and pretty much everybody on the Aces roster does. I'm going Aces. I just think I trust them more in a close late game scenario because they've done it before multiple times. I know revenge could be a factor. I'm not factoring it in. I got the Aces. I think right now they are playing better than anybody else, and they were my pick pre-playoffs to win the whole thing. I'm taking it. Give me the Aces. Not easy, though. I'm not saying the Aces run through them, but I think they do enough to sneak by.
My concern here is, what if there's a regression in the defense from how they've been playing as of late?
Okay.
Because we have a larger sample size of them not playing great defense, and it's really been this. But this is the best time to be playing your best basketball, and so I mean, I don't know, man. The Liberty really can't lose this series twice.
I'm not even joking. If they actually lose this series, I think Sandy gets fired.
She probably should, because I mean, you have to do something different. You have to do something different.
You can't really get much more talent. I know that you can make an argument, you can tweak some things here or there, but in reality, you're one of the most talented teams in the entire league. You kind of have to come through at some point, but
yeah,
is it a fair narrative to call this team soft? Because I feel like they really haven't been dealing with much adversity over the last couple of years. The playoff last year, they kind of coasted through as well. And then the Aces punched them in the mouth and they folded.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was the Aces punching them in the mouth. But I just think that moment was like, that's literally been the talk up to this point. Like that's been it. And like, ultimately, I think regardless, and I'm gonna just go ahead and jump ahead. I think this is a 5-game series regardless. I think we're going to get all the way to game 5, and it's going to be back in New York. I can't sit here and just say that they're going to do it twice in a row. Twice in a row, sending them packing on their home floor.
That does give you some confidence, though, for the Aces players' perspective, that they can go into New York and win an elimination game.
Oh no, they're
one of these games.
They think they can win every single game, and they're gonna and that's what's gonna make this series so good. Yeah, I'm going Liberty. I'm not mad at anybody that takes the plus money with the Aces at all, but ultimately, I think this goes 5, and they cannot let them win again on their home floor like that. They cannot. They can't. So, yeah, maybe I'm buying into the revenge factor a little bit. It's just a little bit extra onto it. Of course, you want to go bring that first championship back to New York, but yeah, I'm going with the Liberty. I'm going with the Liberty. You can't lay minus 170 though, so I have to find.
That's kind of my point. Is creative. That for the sake of value, for picking a war, I got to take the plus money.
Yeah, take the plus money on the series for sure. And I probably await. At some point, this could, if the Aces get out early, maybe I feel confident in myself that they pick it back up, because I think both of these two teams can win on each other's floor rather easily.
If the Liberty win game 1, though, these odds are going to skyrocket. So
for sure.
For game 1.
No, for sure.
I will put it this way, though. If I am picking the Aces, which I am not picking the Liberty to win both games at home. I think the Aces steal one of these.
I think this is ultimate zigzag theory.
Could be. I'm saying I think the Aces will not go back to Vegas down 2-0.
No, I don't think so either. I think this is zigzag theory for sure. Like I said, I think game 5, 2-2. However we get there, 2-2. All right. Look, Liberty plus 320 for game 5 as well. Kind of interesting there. All right. They have actually some exact outcomes. So the Liberty come out hot game 1. Oh, they don't have a 3, whereas nobody wants Liberty 1, 2, 3. What? That doesn't sound right.
Is it a hot take to say I think the Liberty need to win game 1 if they have any hope to win the series? Can I call game 1 a must-win game?
I mean, we can go straight to the game preview because I'm picking them to win game 1. You got to. You have to win game 1.
If you don't, you have serious problems because this team, historically speaking, has kind of owned you in the playoffs.
Yeah. And that kills all confidence and everything. And I mean, of course, it's not going to be a series, but like that kills all confidence if you lose game one. Like that literally stops all momentum if you lose game one, because it's like, here we go again. I think they are going to win game one. I think they have to win game one. I think this place is going to be rocking. I think not only do the fans remember, but the players remember. Everybody remembers how that last game ended. And despite having the season that they did, it doesn't mean anything to this point, because they both know, everybody realizes from that last game that they just played in New York before the season ended, when A'ja Wilson wasn't playing and they still kept it a game, this team is really, really good now. They are not what was happening in the beginning of the season. So, yeah, I'm rolling. I'm rolling with the Liberty in game one. I was really, really back and forth. I am slightly concerned that the Liberty win and don't cover, and we get one of those instant classics in game one. But 2 possessions, I hope for free throws, and I'm taking the Liberty, man. They have to get this done.
So just to be clear, the spread is 3.5 right now. Over/under is 163.5. I like the under in the game. I'm kind of going to ignore the side. If we're expecting a war, you can make the argument that whichever team wins this series will win the title, because they'll be favored. Whoever wins the series will be favored to win the title in the final. I think I got to go with the under. You're looking at the games this season, and they have been pretty defensive. I mean, the game one was high scoring, and each of the last 2 games didn't even get to 147. So, in fact, both games landed 146. So I like the under in this game. I think the total's way too high. We saw the Liberty defensively kind of no-show game 2 against Atlanta. Atlanta came out, played fast, kind of caught them off guard. Not going to overreact there. They buckled down in the second half. The Aces, though, I thought defensively were good against Seattle. Now, part of that was Jewel Lloyd being injured. I'm aware of it. But with how this team's played defensively and how the Liberty have played defensively all year, I think this total's way too high. I'm not sure either team gets to 80 in this game. So I'll go with the under. I think this game lands probably in the 150s. Doesn't that total feel very high for what should be
sure,
an extreme battle with these teams?
And I mean, but you got to think, as much as it's these 2 defenses, it's the Liberty and the Aces offense. And I understand why they put it that high. They are just going to regret it, because we're going to hit them over the head and take the under and cash. I've already bet this under. I think that this is a great play, and I'm with you, Scott. While the side, I could see go both ways. I mean, if they get out there and just start hitting every shot, like, that's not even how these teams like to play against each other sometimes. Like, they really, really like to step it up defensively because they respect each other so much offensively. So, yeah, I'm definitely on the under. This is really high. This could be like
both teams might end up in the 70s.
Yeah, I was about to say, this could go to 160 and still go under. Like, no, this is a playoff series, and this is game one. This is a heated rivalry. This is A'ja Wilson versus Breanna Stewart. Absolutely. I think everybody steps up defensively. I'm with you.
Yeah, I do want to point out, though, since I kind of ignored your question about the side, I will lean Liberty with the 3.5. Not going to bet it, but I do think with this crowd, it is a very good spot to jump out to an early lead and to potentially coast, because you have done well against the team this season. I think the Aces struggle in game one, and I think as the series goes on, I just think Becky Hammon is so much better than Sandy that I think that the adjustments will be made for game 2. But I am picking the Liberty in game 1. I think with the crowd, they come out with a purpose, and I think they win this game by like 7. It'll be close, but give me the Liberty. I think they'll get the job done in game 1. For the series, not so much. So maybe pump the brakes on the Aces to win the series. A bet, you might want to wait till after game 1. I think Liberty take game 1, and I think they cover. My favorite play is the under.
All right. I like the angle of playing the Aces after game 1 as well. When it jumps up, absolutely. That's just going to be a price that I feel like everybody you're going to want a piece of. All right, Scott, player props. It's so many places to go, but Scott, some books are hanging Chelsea Gray 9.5 out there.
Yeah. I believe you told me to bet a play for you on one of those books about a day or 2 ago.
Absolutely. I see 10.5 out here as well, but if you find 9.5, still take it, because this is absolutely ridiculous, Scott.
No, it's price based on regular season numbers. It's not accounting for how healthy she actually is.
Not only is it not accounting for how healthy she actually is, it also is not accounting for she actually fucking kills the Liberty. Like, actually 12, 16, 13, 9, 21, 11, 3, 13, 13, 2.
She's gone over in 9 of the last 10 games against the Liberty.
What? It's ridiculous. Like, that's her 14, 15, 15, 22, 16, 20, 14, 11, 13. And then the last game, which was at the end of the season, 3. Scott. What are they doing? Like, seriously, what are they doing? Do they know something we don't know? What are they doing here?
I really think it's just based on her numbers this season and is not factoring in how healthy she actually looked against the Storm. That's my
Or
guess.
the fact that she's kills this fucking team?
Yeah, well, she had 3 points in the last meeting, so that kind of
That doesn't even, but that was the end of the season when Asia wasn't playing.
No. Once again, I'm trying to justify why the sportsbooks put it there. The
They're
argument is she had
crazy.
3 last meetings, so we'll put it at 9.5. It is too low. It should be closer to like 11.5 or 12.5.
They're insane. They're absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. All right. Man, should have run 16 and 12 in the playoffs. Come on. Tighten up. All right, Scott. Where else are we going today?
Well,
Or for
I
the
want to ask you about
weekend?
Asia, because we got to start off with the star players here, even though Gray, of course, was your favorite play in general. I do want to ask you about Asia.
I can't go under.
It's at 24.5. I
can't
am
do
going to
it.
throw out there that Brianna Stewart has done really, really well defending her in the past. She's had less than 25 points in 10 of her last 11 games against the Liberty.
I can't do it.
I know, but I have to at least bring it up because I will not take an over. Because once again, when you've gone under in 10 of 11, and the one time you went over, you had 26, and that was last year, I have a hard time picking you to go over. And that might be why I picked the Liberty to actually win game 1 and cover. I think they keep Asia in check. Brianna's done a really, really good job against Asia in the past. I think I'll back that narrative. Asia has an off game, points-wise, rebound-wise, and some blocks. She'll do Asia stuff. I'm aware of it. But I think Asia has an off-scoring night. And I think Brianna does a pretty good job. So I like the rebounds for Brianna, actually. I think Brianna can do a good job of actually limiting Asia. I think that, of course, Asia's going to keep shooting. Do you like Jonquel rebounds because she's done well in the head against this team, or do you prefer Brianna because we know Jonquel can have some mental lapses or just some lack of overall, I'd say, effort, which can be annoying with props. But I think Brianna defensively will do a good job against her in game 1. Brianna's rebounds are at 9.5. She's gone over in 3 of the last 5 games. She's gone over in 5 of the last 6 head-to-head meetings. So she has been very good rebounding-wise against the Aces, and over 9.5s plus 110. Double-doubles plus 120. Give me Stewie double-double at plus 120. I think that's just a great price.
Yeah, I like that. I think in terms of Asia, what's really tough is that they don't just throw Stewie at her. They throw a combination of Stewie and Jonquel at her. I remember when I went to the game, what was it? It wasn't last year. Was it last year? It might have been last year.
Was that the game they won by 90? Or
Yeah.
you were at a different game? Yeah, okay.
And a game they won by 90. Absolutely. It was amazing. Place was rocking.
Yeah, they pulled everyone at halftime.
Oh, so good. So good. Sabrina hit everything. And we'll talk about Sabrina in just a second. Sabrina hit everything. But Jonquel was the main defender that game. And she played really, really good defense. I think Asia was like 2 for 10, something like that in that game. Like, it was really, really bad. Jonquel played really, really good defense. And so it's a lot of different things they can throw at her. And I think that plays a part. And I'm going to watch game 1 and wait and see, because this season is just, it's been one of the greatest seasons thus far. Why doesn't she just go into the postseason and have a crazy year and do things that she hasn't been doing regularly against the Liberty? So I'm afraid. I'll say it. I'm afraid. However, let's talk about Sabrina Ionescu, because I'm buying into Sabrina having the big game.
Okay.
It's about time. It is about time that she takes her place on the mantle as the alpha of this team. Been a very good season. Been shooting the ball well. Came back in that last game against Atlanta and had 36. Let's carry it over, Scott. I'm taking threes.
It's at 2.5 minus 120.
Yep, I'm doing it. 3 and 5 in the playoffs thus far. She actually pretty consistent against the Liberty, not against the Liberty, against the Aces to this number, about 58% here. Went over in 3 of the last 5 against them. I think that this is another good spot where at home, she sees the first one goes down, and then they just keep falling because this team knows, hey, we really need to handle business in this first game. Taking Sabrina over 2.5 threes.
Yeah, I don't mind that play. I think it's a pretty good number.
Miles asking about Jackie having a step up performance like she did at the Olympics. She can.
I do want to point out, though, step up performance in what aspect? Because offensively, she's kind of taken a back seat. She's been phenomenal defensively for a month straight. So it kind of depends on how you interpret step up performance, because the Aces have really been successful and they've thrived once Jackie kind of embraced that. I don't want to say defensive stopper role first, but you know what I mean. Jackie's been willing to sacrifice offensive, I'd say, numbers for the betterment of the team, and it's been working quite well. So
I don't think this is going to be one of those spots, though.
That's what I'm saying, though. I don't know if Jackie is going to revert back to dropping 20 and change against this team, or if she's so focused on playing defense, and that's why this team's been successful, that the stats might stuff her, but she's trying to win. That's kind of my point. I feel like Jackie, I can't really take props-wise, because she's been so good defensively, and they've been so good in the win-loss column, that she might just stick with her current role, which has been winning. So I can't really answer that, Mal. Sorry, but I feel like betting props for her is difficult because so much energy goes into defense with her now. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think so. But I just think this is a good spot. She feels comfortable with this team. If we take away what she did this season and what was a little bit lackluster, 12, 4, and 10, but she's had the history. She went over this 12.5 points prop in what was that? Well, shoot, she is still really, really good. What's that? Eight of the last 12. Like I said, the last 3 hasn't been good, but she's been really, really consistent in the scoring here. And I think that's where where everybody else is gonna step up, because they do guard Asia so well. And she also is still a really good passer. So she's able to really get into the defense. If they slow things up for her, she at least creates for somebody else. And that's where Jackie, Chelsea really, really step up in this matchup, because she opens up so much for them. So I think Jackie just continues to go back to just what she did against this team in the playoffs last year. And that's just have really, really good freaking games. So I like Jackie over 12.5, -114. That's a really good bet. She killed this team in the playoffs last year.
By the way, there were official trade details that were finalized according to Underdog on their Twitter. You're probably not going to be happy, but I'm going to throw it out there. Cat got traded to the Knicks for Randall, a Pistons first-round pick. I don't know what year that is, and Dante DiVincenzo. So Dante was in that trade.
So it was Dante, Randall, and a first
A
rounder.
Pistons first-round pick for some year that I don't know what year that is.
Okay.
So I can't believe they gave up Dante.
Yeah, that sucks for Dante, man. They really, really pushed that Villanova Knicks the whole offseason.
I mean, I guess the argument is you got McHale, so he'll take the place for the winger, but Dante was really good for you guys.
And then, I mean, I guess that keeps Deuce McBride in the rotation, and he's really good both sides of the ball. I hope he, more consistent behind the 3-point arc. Like, yeah, I mean, the only thing that concerns me is that I know that Cat really, really started playing well when Patrick Beverly was up his ass, and then when Anthony Edwards started being up his ass.
Yep.
Who's going to be up his ass on this Knicks team?
It's a good question. Thibodeau? I know I'm like half joking, but
yeah,
Thibodeau,
I don't know. I feel like Josh Hart to make a joke and he'll kind of get his feelings hurt a little bit. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I like it talent-wise, but mentally in the New York market, you got to be strong, bro. You got to be strong, because if we start off slow, they cooking this team.
And what I'll tell you this, though, we're going to break it down more when we get into the Atlantic Division preview on the NBA show, probably in a week or so. But wanted to mention it, was breaking news. So can't spell WNBA without NBA. So wanted to cover it quickly.
All right. Anything else? Anything else jumping out at you? We can move
Not
on.
really. This might be a series where I kind of take a wait and see approach. You mentioned
Yeah,
zigzag
man,
theory.
it's gonna
I
be
might use
so
that for.
good.
I might use zigzag theory for props too.
Yeah, if
'Cause
somebody has a rough game, I think they can bounce back. Like,
Yeah, that's how I feel.
all right, I'm with you. And we think it's an under game too. I'm
Yeah.
with you, backing you on the Brianna double and rebounds for sure. I like that. All right, Jocko. I think Jocko has a good game too. All right. Let's see. Before we get to the next game, I got to talk to you about Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy Pick'em is always adding to their awesome prop menu. And hey, you can go out there and get first touchdown projections, NFL, college football, WNBA, all this and more. They have a whole bunch of no sweat entries and profit boosts, specials, all of that. So make sure you use that promo code NBA SGPN and claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code NBA SGPN. All right, Scott. Next series, Minnesota Lynx welcoming the Connecticut Sun for 5 games. First 2 up in Minnesota. Looking at the series price, and I have for the Minnesota Lynx $2 favorite minus 200 plus 170 for the Connecticut Sun.
Well, we got to talk about the series quickly.
Yeah, hold on. I got you with the Minnesota. Here's Minnesota's series odds 3-0 plus 320, 3-1 plus 320, 3-2. Wow, really? Okay. 3-2 plus 4-1. Connecticut 3-0, 12-1. Connecticut 3-1 plus 550, and Connecticut 3-2 plus 425.
Are we getting 5 games in both series?
Oh man, I really think so. Like,
It
this was
feels
the
like
best
it's
matchup.
possible.
This was the best matchup because if Connecticut played either Aces or Liberty, that probably would have been over quick.
I would give the Sun a game. I would say those 2 teams in 4.
Yeah. But now that we get this is absolutely it. Scott. So we got this. We got this at the end of the season in what was a very competitive game, probably game of the year, or it's up there. Bridget hit an outrageous 3 at the end of the game.
Ironically, by the way, the game of the year might have been the first meeting between these teams, which was 83-82 in overtime.
Yeah.
So these teams have killed each other the entire year. I'll start off with this just to start the conversation. Did you feel better or worse about either team after the first round? Because I felt a lot better about Connecticut. Personally.
I didn't feel better about Connecticut because I'm not as high as you on the Fever.
Okay, that's fair.
And I think we're pretty, like, we've pretty much shown that over the course. I'm not as high as you on the Fever, so I expected that very much, like, to go pretty much like that.
I think with most of the Mabry thing, though, I became increasingly high on the Mabry acquisition because that paid off in game 2, obviously. But
yeah, it did. And I will say it worked for that series. This series, I don't think it's going to be the same thing. And so we're going to jump around here a little bit. But I've already kind of been handicapping, and one of the props that I'm probably going to end up playing in this series is Marina Mabry under 15.5 points, because she's incredibly inefficient when she plays this team. Like, it doesn't matter where she's been, who she's been with. She hasn't had good games against this Minnesota Lynx team. You look at what she did earlier this season. She had 13, still didn't get over 15.5, and 15.5 is now priced from what she did in the first series against Indiana, who we know is a horrible defense. Minnesota, not a bad defense. They play the guards really, really well. She shot 35% from the field in that game. With Chicago, she had 11 points, shot 23.5% from the field. She had a 19-point game where she shot 43%, and that was really like the only highlight against this team. 11 points, 30.8, and this is all with Chicago, where she has a much bigger role. Then she has a 5-point game where she shot 22.2%. Like, she hasn't had good games against this team. They guard her really well. They don't let her get easy looks from beyond the 3-point line. And so with that acquisition and the fact that she now has a role in this team and it's pretty significant, if she's not on, I don't think the Connecticut Sun have enough. I really don't. And so if I'm projecting Marina Mabry to go under 15.5 and be inefficient for this series, I think Connecticut loses.
That's fair. Do you think that it goes to 5? Or are you picking Minnesota in 4? I'm assuming you're not picking a sweep.
Can Minnesota? I think Minnesota can win a game in Connecticut.
I think they can too. But I'm asking, do you think that they would sweep, or are you picking 4?
No, I don't think it's a sweep. I don't think it's a sweep. I do think that they can punch them in the mouth one game and win a very, very tightly. We've seen them win a tightly contested game against Connecticut. So, but we've seen them lose a tightly contested game against Connecticut as well. I think we still go 5. I think we still go 5, but Minnesota gets it done.
I think I'm going to agree with you. The truth is, going into the playoffs, I would have just picked Minnesota in 4, but I actually like what I've seen from the Sun quite a bit, that I think they can win the series. I'm not saying I'm picking them to win it, because my initial finals prediction was Aces versus Lynx, but I think this is doable for Connecticut, and these teams have been, once again, very, very competitive against each other this season. Last meeting, not so much, but we ended up last 2 meetings, not so much. Actually, no, sorry, that was against the Mercury. Sorry there. The point is the meetings were very close. We saw the last meeting be very close, came down to a game-winning 3-pointer in the last 30 seconds. Middle game, the Sun won. Ended up seeing the first game, the Sun won by 1 in overtime. This has all the makings of a slugfest, the way that I see it. Now, we saw Nafisa dominate against the Mercury. Shout out to Griner, by the way, for letting Collier average 40 in the entire series. But damn, the Mercury are horrible defensively. I don't know if I learned much about Minnesota besides Collier being her, which we already kind of knew, and she won Defensive Player of the Year anyway. But Collier just averaging 40 in a playoff series is absurd. I think Connecticut will force other players to beat them. I think Minnesota has that ability to do so, but I feel like the Mercury made no adjustments at all and let Collier kill them the entire series. I don't see that happening again. I think Connecticut's a smarter team. I think they're a better defensive team. And I think at some point they will force somebody else besides Collier to beat them. The question is, will they? I'm going to say yes with a couple off games in there. I'm not saying Collier is going to be terrible in the series. She still might average 20 and change. But she's not averaging 40. 40
Oh,
in a
yeah,
series,
40 is insane.
40 in a series should get you fired as a head coach.
Yeah, 40 is insane.
That's insane. But I am going to go with Minnesota. Think I'm going to go 5. The crowd was hyped for those 2 games. I think Minnesota wins in 5. But if Connecticut pulls it off, and if they pull off the upset and win the series, I will be significantly less shocked than I would have been 2 weeks ago. I'll put it that way.
All right, we didn't talk about the series player props. We'll get to that at the end before Lock and Dog for the Aces Liberty. But we do have, and I mean, we did pretty good in the first round, so we got to go back to it. Series leader, we'll start with total points. Series leader, Nafisa Collier, laying $2.70. DeWanna Bonner, 3-1. Caleb McBride, 8-1. Alyssa Thomas, 14-1. Marina Mabry, 15-1. Dejanay Carrollton, 15-1. I mean, not in really. I mean, there's a case that DeWanna Bonner could lead in total points, but that would be if you're on Connecticut. Like, if you think Connecticut wins the series, then you should probably bet DeWanna Bonner to lead in total points. But
I mean, I'm looking at all the favorites here, and Collier's at 270. For assists, AT's minus 1,400. For rebounds, you have Collier minus 105. I'll take AT on rebounds at plus 120. That's basically it. I see this being pretty chalky when it comes to props.
Minus 1,400 is insane.
That's nuts, but I can't disagree.
No, what? No, I'm taking Courtney Williams at 8-1, bro.
Okay, I think
we think Minnesota. We think Minnesota's going to win the series. Like, you got to sprinkle on Courtney Williams at 8-1 if we think Minnesota's going to win the series. What if Minnesota has games where they absolutely run this team out of the building and? You know, Courtney, like, AT might not get the assist because defensive pressure. If we're taking the other team, we gotta sprinkle on Courtney Williams 8-1. You have to. I think you have to place that. Not saying it could very well not hit, but if Alyssa Thomas has a bad series because Minnesota just absolutely goes on this crazy revenge tour and Courtney Williams ends up winning by like 2 assists, I would kick myself. I gotta place on Courtney Williams 8-1.
I think I'm just expecting AT to just have a monster stats series because we've seen her raise her level both with performance and stats in the playoffs. It's not fully playoff Rondo, but you get my point.
Mm-hmm.
I think she might have a triple-double in one of these games. Like, that wouldn't shock me if AT pulled that off. So I don't mind the rebounds for AT, but for assists, I get it. You don't want to take the minus 1,400. One injury, weird things happen, and suddenly you have chaos on your hands, which is good for your prop. I'll just go AT rebounds and call it a day. I see it being pretty chalky.
I think AT rebounds is a good play at plus 120. I agree with you. I would also play Brianna Jones at 2-1. And not 2-1, at 22-1. Yeah, 22-1, Brianna Jones. I played that as well because Minnesota sucks at rebounding. And
Yep.
I actually don't know. Yeah. And so if Brianna Jones just hangs around and ends up sneakily having like a couple of double-doubles in this series, I wouldn't be surprised. So I'll take a flyer on that. A lot of long shots there for me, but nothing that felt as good as Marina Mabry 15-1 there.
Yep.
I will admit. All right.
Back to the game.
Laying 4.5. Wait, before we do that, I gotta talk to you about BetUS because that's where I'm gonna go bet this game with BetUS. They've been around for more than 30 years, and I can easily deposit with cryptocurrency and lightning fast payouts. So make sure you get over and use sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS, promo code SGPN. Sign up. They'll give you a 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits. Make sure you go tap in with BetUS at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Make sure you use that promo code SGPN so they know we sent you. All right. We're also brought to you by Rhythm AI. Hey, firing up the Rhythm app, see what they like in the WNBA slate. But hey, you don't just have to use Rhythm for the WNBA. You can use Rhythm for college football. You can use Rhythm for NFL. You can use Rhythm for golf. Like, you can use Rhythm systems, or hey, you can create your own models and systems on Rhythm's platform. So tap in with Rhythm, and hey, I will say, Rhythm does like, let me see here. Rhythm does like the aces, Scott, +4. Rhythm is on the aces +4.
What are the thoughts
I'm
on the
not mad
total,
at it.
though? What do you think about the total in that game?
Rhythm leans over.
Okay.
Leans over. Thanks. It's got 59.8% win probability. So, hey, is that and a whole bunch of other bets on Rhythm. Make sure you tap in to Rhythm, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Rhythm. All right. Minnesota laying 4.5. 154.5 is total. Scott, even though I do like Minnesota, I'm more inclined to take the points here because we've seen some wars between this team.
Yeah, I'm taking the points. I might blindly take the points in pretty much every game of this series because the Lynx did have 2 separate games against the Sun this season be decided by less than 3 points. The one exception was the Sun winning by 5. So these games, once again,
and that was a game
very, very close.
By the way, that was a game Nafisa Collier left in the third with a injury. So through the fourth, through half of the third and the rest of the fourth quarter, they kept that game close.
That is true. But I do think looking at this matchup, Minnesota, I thought, was fine against the Mercury. I mean, they were up by 20 plus in game 1. They choked it. They came back and won. Then game 2 was also close for maybe a couple minutes there in the second quarter. Then they went on a massive run, and they kind of dominated from there. The Lynx have been getting off to some slow starts, at least from what I've noticed, and I think that Connecticut can maybe punch them in the mouth for the first 8 minutes of this game. I think that the Sun can get off to a decent start. Maybe Sun first quarter is getting a bit too creative, but I think they can definitely get out to a decent, I'd say, lead to this game. They maybe choke it, but we'll see what happens. But I'm taking the points. I see this being a war. We've said that. That's the buzzword for this episode. I've said war multiple times, but I have to keep saying it because I think these teams are going to kill each other. So I'll go with the points. I think even though the Liberty, I think, need to win game 1 against the Aces.
Minnesota doesn't need to win.
That's partly because of last year. I think Minnesota can afford to lose a game and kind of
still
win
come
the series
back
anyway. But it's also, you mentioned revenge angle. I think there just might be a chip on their shoulder for the Liberty to come out and win game 1 at home after losing the finals on your home floor. Minnesota doesn't have that. I just see a very even battle between two teams. The question is, if Collier doesn't drop 40, Do you think other players step up? I think they will. I'm not sure they do in game one. I'll lean Connecticut, and they got a shot to win the game, but I see it being one possession. Give me the Sun.
I think that Minnesota. So if you look at the series last year, it went to 3 in one of those first round games that ended up Minnesota came back and bounced back in game 2 on the road and forced a game 3 where they lost on their home floor. But man, this is going to be a war. And I don't think that Minnesota has to win game 1. I think Minnesota is a team that I feel confident in Cheryl Reeve as a coach, where if they go down in the series, they, especially to a really good Connecticut team, they can make the adjustments and then go forward and get the win and even things up and be able to win on the road as well. I'm with you. Hey, and Rhythm is also with us, Scott. By the way, we were just talking about Rhythm. Rhythm likes the Connecticut Sun plus the points here. I with you. I like the points. I think it was at 5 at one point. I think this is a little too much. This could be a one possession game, or Connecticut could actually just win this outright. And that wouldn't shock me either. Like I said, I think Connecticut can go up 1-0 and still blow this.
That's kind of how I feel.
All right. I'm with you. Wow, we're sneakily on Connecticut in game 1 despite being on Minnesota for the series. Love it. All right. That's sharp. That's sharp. Okay. Total is at 154.5. Is there anything that can convince you? Like, how do we convince ourselves of an over here?
A part of me is thinking about the over because I thought both teams offensively were really good in the first round. Now, I know Connecticut played against the Fever. They don't guard anybody. The Lynx played against the Mercury. They don't guard anybody either. But I liked how both offenses played in the first round. I might actually consider taking an over here, but only because I think this total is very, very low. I mean, we saw the last meeting land 154 with that three-pointer at the end. Maybe free throws get you there. I think I'll lean over. Not going to bet this. It could turn into a rock fight, and I'm just dead wrong. But I think I'll lean over. Give me some late-game free throws to send it over.
Man, they only got to 165 in that first meeting with overtime.
Yeah.
I'm not going to overthink it. I'm just going to go under, Scott.
I'll try to go a bit contrarian, but yeah.
All right. Player props. I already gave out the Marina Mabry prop. So I'm on the under for her on her points prop, under 15.5. Playoff DB, Scott.
Yep.
I'm rolling. This is actually kind of...
That was a big three-pointer she made in the final 2 minutes.
They're actually kind of disrespecting her, Scott. I want you to know this. So we got DB here. Looking at her last, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games against the Minnesota Lynx. 31, 15, 17, 24, 25, 20, 24, and 9. In fact, Scott, she actually averaged 18.1 points in the postseason last year.
Okay.
14 and a half. 14 and a half. She's been over this in 7 of the last 8 against the Minnesota Lynx. 14 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
She ups her average in the playoffs. This is what DB does. She's been in the playoffs her whole career. Man, yeah. Over 14 and a half. Get the ladders out, Scott.
How high do you want to go? Like 25?
Oh, 25 is 12-1, Scott, just so you know.
Okay.
Did you hear the numbers I said, by the way? 31, 15, 17, 24, 25, 20, 24, 9.
Yeah, I heard those.
That doesn't sound like 12-1 should be the number. I'm going to bet it. I've already bet it. But yeah, that's the play.
I'll go Collier blocks. Give me the new defensive player. Give me the new defensive player of the year. Unfortunately, it is minus 140 on FanDuel, but I'm taking it. Okay. I think that the blocks are solid. She's had at least 2 blocks in 7 of the last 10 games. She has had at least 2 blocks in every game against the Sun this season, including the game she got injured in. She had 2 blocks in the 24.6 minutes that she played. Against Connecticut, though, in the last meeting, she played 39 minutes and had 4 blocks. And we know that since this is a playoff game and she barely got any rest in the entire first round combined, she's playing 35-plus minutes, probably 38-plus minutes. Give me Collier blocks. Give me the defensive player of the year to put together a solid defensive showing. Give me the over 1.5 blocks.
I still like her points, too.
Yeah, that's fine.
At 22.5. looking at her last few games against Minnesota, 31. That 9 is the game that she left with injury, and then she had 25 in that early overtime game beginning of the season last year in the playoffs. 14, 26, 20 and 31. I'm sorry, 14, 26, and 31. So she's been over in 5 of the last 8 against the Connecticut Sun, and that's including the game with injury. 5 of the last 7 if you take that game out. I'm just gonna back Nafisa Collier, the best player on the team, to continue doing what she's been doing.
Any other players you're looking at? Because I thought about Courtney Williams.
That's no points, rebounds, and assists. Courtney Williams, 22.5. Play it.
I was actually looking just at points and assists because she has gone over in 8 of the last 10, has gone over in the last 5 games against the Sun. Points and assists at 16.5 minus 125. I'll take that. If you want to throw in rebounds, you can, but I'll just go points and assists.
Yeah, no, I just here are the rebound numbers against the Connecticut Sun. 5, 2, 7, 6. Wait, yeah, 16. 16, 5, 8, 5. Courtney Williams, you are so fucking funny. Why do you have a 16 rebound game against them?
In that game, by the way, she had 23, 16, and 13.
Yes, it was a triple-double back when she played for the Chicago Sky, in fact.
Yep.
But yes, I think that, and it kind of makes sense too, because I think that, this is revenge. Like, this is the revenge angle. She's multiple time bids with the Connecticut Sun there. She understands where to be. She finds herself. She's a great rebounding guard. It just kind of finds the ball. So I took the points, rebounds, and assists. I do agree with the points and assists too. I had both of them written down, but Courtney Williams, really, really good games against Connecticut, and she just kind of figures them out. And I like getting everything combined so that, hey, if this is the points game or if this is the assist game, it doesn't matter. We still cash. So, yeah, I'm with you, Scott. Courtney Williams, that's also one of my favorite plays. Yeah, AT. I mean, I feel like you got to take AT. AT's had really good games against them as well, especially, like you said, with the rebounding. Points and rebounds over 21.5. She's been over in, what is this, 9 of the last 10 against this team. I think that qualifies as something we should look at there. 9 of the last 10 AT's gone over. It's a lot of really good matchups here in this game. This is going to be, like you said, it's going to be a series.
Yep, should be.
All right, let's get back to the aces and look at some of the series leader. Total points leader, of course, we know Asia is minus 190. Then you got Breanna Stewart at plus 450 and Sabrina Ionescu at 6-1. Kelsey Plum plus 950, Jackie Young 14-1, Jacqueline Jones 15-1, Tiffany Hayes 35-1, Chelsea Gray 35-1.
I'm assuming you're going Sabrina Sprinkle on the points.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it cashed in the first series, by the way. Mm-hmm. However, if there was ever a series to fade Asia, it's this one. And to take your stab, I wouldn't make it heavy, but take your stab and where you feel like who else is going to step up, because I do think it's somebody else. I think Sabrina definitely deserves a sprinkle at 6-1. However, in the possibility that the Aces get this done, I'm just going to back the 2 guards that play really, really well against the Aces, and that's Jackie Young at 14-1 and Chelsea Gray. Chelsea Gray at 35-1 is kind of insane. Insane. I have to bet that. I have to bet that.
I'd rather bet her for assist leader personally, but I get what you're saying.
I have to bet that. I mean, you got. It's not like going out there and you're throwing a house on it, but 35-1. Yeah, that deserves a little flyer. All right.
For my points pick, I'll go Breanna Stewart, but it's mostly because I don't want to lay 190 against Asia. Asia probably wins it, but I think Breanna could average 25 in a series. So I think she could potentially eke it out. I'll go with Breanna as my choice for points, but I like some chalk for the assists. Spoiler, I am going to go with Chelsea. Plus 180 for Chelsea is a great price. If you want to bet Chelsea Gray and Ionescu, plus 180 and plus 240 for the
You're
assists,
more than likely going to win.
You're winning. No, like Vandersloot's at 450. She barely plays anymore.
Yeah, that's crazy. You're gonna win.
The argument would be maybe Jackie, but we know Gray's taken over all the assisting. She had 9 assists in Game 2 against Seattle. If you want just some potential free money for arbitrage, Gray and Ionescu to lead in assists, you're probably making money.
Another thing to think about here too, thinking about just all the matchups, Thebich now in the starting lineup, I hope they stick with that. Phoebus now in the starting lineup, really, really good defender. So that just adds
Can I bet
another.
Phoebus to lead the series in threes?
Hey, I would be interested.
I don't mind that as an option, but I don't see that on DraftKings, so I don't have that in front of me. But
Nope.
for rebounds, Asia's minus 310. Jonquel and Brianna are both plus 550. I'll go Brianna. Give me Brianna plus 550. I can't back Asia. Her prices are too big. I feel like Asia probably leads it, but Brianna's been so good rebounding against this
Take
team.
a chance.
Plus 550, I like a lot. You said Jonquel might guard Asia, means foul trouble could be a problem. Brianna, that might means Brianna might be sneaking across to try to grab rebounds on the help side, trying to get some boards. So give me Brianna rebounds at plus 550.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the same. I think the same thing, but just a different angle. Like, hey, Brianna's going to be Gardner too. Jonquel might be able to catch some weak side rebounds. I think both of us taking a bet on plus 550. Especially, yeah, both of us taking a bet on plus 550 is pretty.
It's plus 550, but I just like the consistency of Brianna's motor compared to Jonquel.
All right.
That's why I'm picking Brianna.
Let's. Oh,
Virginia Tech choke it yet, or Miami still driving?
They're about to choke it.
Okay,
but that's what they do. That's what they do.
It's because they take the field goal.
But I told you they cover these games, Scott. It's crazy. Like he's 3-0, 3-0 ATS in the last 5 years as a road double-digit dog to a top 25 team. A top 25 team, 3 years, cover. May not always got the win, but they sure cover. All right. Lock, dog, underdog.
You can give out Gray again at 10.5.
I can.
I think
I'm kind of tempted. I'm kind of tempted on Liberty, but that aces and how good the aces are in game ones really, really, really trips me out there. So I don't want to do that. I think Connecticut covers. I do really like that under in the first game. Yeah, I'm just gonna end up giving out Chelsea Gray, but I couldn't make Chelsea Gray my dog. Nah, I'm just gonna give out Gray. Yeah, I already bet it. It doesn't matter. Chelsea Gray. I'll give it out at 10.5. I'll even, you know what? I'm a man of the people, Scott. It doesn't matter to me. I'll give it out at 10.5. It's gonna cash easy. She destroys this team. I mean, I don't. Where is this? Where's the people? The people should again hear her game log against the New York Liberty. 14, 15, 15, 22, 16, 20, 14, 11, 13, 3.
Okay.
So due for another good game against Liberty. She gets over 10.5 points. That's my lock. For my dog. How do I want to play this? DB? I can. Yeah, DB's have pretty. Yeah, I'm just going to roll playoff DB. Says she just has another good game. I can get DB for 18 plus points at plus 190.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about 2-1. DB, 18 plus points. She gets it done.
Okay. So for mine, thought about the under in the Aces game. Question is, do I want to do it? Because I thought about doing something with Nafisa blocks potentially.
That was close to being my lock as well. That under. I was going back and forth between Chelsea Gray and the under.
I'll tell you what I'm torn by. It's actually a play I didn't even mention on the show. I'm torn between either the under in the Aces game or the under 18.5 PRA for Alana Smith, which I think is too high. I think it's randomly too high at 18.5. I'm really on the fence about it. I think
she's gonna have her hands full.
I think I am gonna go under on Alana. She has gone under this number in 4 of the last 5, 7 of the last 9, or sorry, 6 of the last 9, or 6 of the last 8, I mean, sorry. 6 of the last 8, 4 of the last 5. Head-to-head, of course, she's the one with the massive three-pointer, right? In that regulation game?
No, that was Bridget.
That was Bridget. Okay, sorry. Alana went under in the last meeting. She has been close with this number a lot, but she has gone under in 6 of the last 9 head-to-head meetings against Connecticut. I just think this line's too high. I think points-wise, she might struggle against this team. I just feel like this line is asking a bit much. The points might not be there. I mean, the last couple games, for example, she has scored less than 10 points in 4 of the last 5 games. The assists might be around 3. The rebounds might not be there, but I think 18.5 just feels a bit high to me. I think she finishes with like 15 or 16. So I go with the under on that one as my lock. For my dog, I think I am going to go with the blocks play. Collier's going to play a bunch of minutes. You can get her alt blocks line at 2.5. Give me the over 2.5 at plus 220. She had 4 in the last game against Connecticut. She just won Defensive Player of the Year. I think she proves why she got it. Give me Collier 3+ blocks at around plus 220.
Adding on to your Lonte Smith play, we know that last game, she only had 2 fouls earlier this season and 2 games before, 5 and 6.
Yeah, foul trouble is always on the cards for her, so that could be an option.
All right, underdog. Where do we? Courtney Williams. I need a reason to play Courtney Williams.
It's fine.
Let's see here. Let's get all of this other. Wait, there we go. Courtney Williams. Let's just wrap it all together. Higher, 22.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I really do like that Lonte Smith play.
It was out of nowhere, but I kind of found it on Outlier at the last minute.
17.5.
That's fine.
Lower, 17.5. And then we can
Sabrina threes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. This got to be the coming out party for Sabrina. Oh, it's 0.89. I don't want to give away some juice. We like too much to give away some juice.
I'm trying to think of what else you would potentially want.
Brianna's rebounds 9.5 at 1.1.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll take that.
That was going to be my dog double, but it's plus 120. I didn't get there.
I wonder, do they have? No, they don't. So yeah, all right. Courtney Williams higher, 22.5 points and rebounds. Lonte Smith lower, 17.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And Breanna Stewart higher, 9.5 rebounds. So that gets you 6.6x. $100 gets you $660 at Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you use that promo code NBA SGPN. Yeah, for the parlay. How do we play this? Do we just go DB and fee and just keep it in the same game parlay?
That works. It's up to you. It's your parlay.
But what if the people can't do same game parlays? I don't want to. No. I think most people should be able to do same game parlays. All right, so we're gonna go fee. Fee 25, DB 20. What does that pay? 6-1. Not bad. Yeah. But I got a lot going on DB already. We're gonna go fee, and we're gonna go 25 for fee, and then we're gonna come out and we're gonna go get Chelsea Gray and add more to our Chelsea Gray leverage. Because she didn't get the 15. Yeah, she didn't get it last time. Gonna get it this time. She sure is. So that's gonna pay. Oh crap! I gotta do this on another book. That's annoying. Okay. I gotta figure out what that pays. I don't have it right now, and we're going over. But just know that's the play. Chelsea Gray 15+ points, and Nafisa Collier 25+ points. You'll let me know. Just drop it in the Discord, whatever, what it pays, what you get it at. But I'll drop the ticket as too. All right, Scott. Anything else for people before we get up out of here?
Not really. Of course, college football tomorrow. Check out the college experience. Besides that, tennis show, which I do multiple times a week. MLB. We got the playoffs coming up next week, so we're gonna have a couple episodes there. So stay tuned for that. For the MLB show, and yeah, NBA. We started doing division previews. So if you want some NBA thoughts, it is officially the off-season episode time for the season previews. So once again, check out the NBA show in addition to the WNBA show, all on the same YouTube channel.
7-1. 7-1 is what I got at. There we
All
go.
right.
All right. I'm at really real __. He's at Reichel Radio. Yeah, that's it. Make sure you give us a follow. Make sure you follow, subscribe, all that to the NBA Gambling Podcast. And yeah, nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending the podcast. Just gonna end like this. We are, man, I love the WNBA playoffs. Out of here.